Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Kaiserreich. We are playing as Serbia. We have 4 divisions and cannot train more, thanks to the Treaty of Warholz. We have responded to Black Monday. We can press these buttons, but I don't know if I want to. We're going to wait a little bit to see if respond to Black Monday needs to... Nope. Looks like we've responded. So, we've got freedom of action. Excuse me. So we can invest. Ooh. Invest in Zagrudar. As part of our agricultural mechanization process, we need the industry to support it, as demand for tractor spare parts and maintenance sharply rises. Thankfully, the Serbian company Zadrugar specializes in the industrial sector. With extra help from the state, they'll be able to meet the growing demands of the Northeast. It's going to help make Black Monday better. Anyways, the additional building slots will be useful later, but not now. Reason I'm not pressing this button is because the Conspiasha reduces my political power gain, and I like having that. Destitution in the countryside. Alright. 3/4 of the Serbian adult population are engaged in agriculture. And the absolute majority of them are subsistence farmers, only barely growing enough food to support themselves and their family. The economic crisis thus impacted these farmers severely. Many racked up debts in the months following the stock market crash and have lost their homes as a result, while others struggle to support themselves with the little land they have. This has made agrarian issues an important talking point in the election, and several parties have been isolated as the frontrunners in the valuable farmer voting bloc. The Agrarian Party, run by Milan Gavrilovic and Jovanic Pizon, have traditionally represented farming interests, but yet to escape the opposition. The Republicans have been traditionally been an urban-centered party, but many of their members have been building support blocks in the rural Usice and Montenegro regions over the past decade. Finally, socialist workers, with their program of radical land redistribution, cannot wait to take advantage of the crisis. The Republicans will find a solution. Failed coup in Beijing. Return of the Republic. Anyways. Escalation of the Harlan County War. Not a good year for the United States. I like the Harlan County War. It's a good event. Uh-oh. Zenitism. Oh, that's a... Zenitism. The loss in the Well Creek marked a fundamental change in Serbian society, and its culture was no exception. The absolute majority of Serbian males died in the war, and almost 1/4 of its total population, while the few who remained had to return to burnt homes, looted town, abandoned farms, and broken dreams. To cope, many turned to art to express their frustration and sorrow, and yet the onset of Alexander II's royal dictatorship stymied the development of Serbian art and culture under heavy censorship. The Republican Revolution of 1925 let this pent-up energy loose, and the following decade left its mark in Serbian culture as a period of avant-garde art, literature, and cultural critique. Few movements were more exemplary of this period than Zenitism, named after the arts magazine Zenit. Founded by Ljubomir Misiek, Ivan Gol, and Bosko Tokin, it publishes articles on modern society, art reviews, and cultural publications. While contributors to art, the magazine are numerous. A common strain of anti-war, anti-nationalist, and anti-capitalist runs through it. And above them all, modern Western society. What was the reason Serbia suffered so much? Misiek and his associates ponder in the pages of Zenit. It is because Serbia, having chosen to abandon its unique Balkan spirit and communal peaceful culture, sold its soul to a greater European civilization, the cold and heartless machine of modern capitalism. That machine gave the modern tools of war to Serbia, with which she killed itself. Some describe Zenitism as anarcho-primitivist, pointing out their scathing critique of modern technology and its lifeless lifestyle, while others see it as taking their thought too literally. As 1936 turns, Zenit and the Serbian avant-garde continues their course, even though as years pass and memory of Well Creek devastation grows duller, they become seen as anti-unpatriotic rather than visionary. The youths are troublesome as always. Our guns are better. Alright, it is time maybe Rangers? Don't you know? I don't know. Radio? Radio's probably good, right? That helps fighting. Radio does make hurting easier. Green shirts! The People's Radical Party, hoping to mobilize more support for their electoral campaign, began to form uniformed paramilitary organizations to serve as the party's arm in the countryside. These organizations, named the Green Shirts after the uniform, are the idea of Milan Stojanovic, the leader of the party, and are very clearly inspired by the success of the Iron Guard next door. That would be next door in Romania. Though it may seem odd for a liberal democratic party to copy the policy of radical national populist movements, also not illegal. Dragomir Vasic and the Serbian Republican Party now have to make a decision how to respond to the radicals' militarization, find a way to curtail their activity. Fire must be fought with fire, our own paramilitary. Okay. Let's see. How's the Black Monday situation? Yeah, we are limited on the buttons we can push. So, we need to modernize Belgrade. While the capital's recovered from the destruction of the Wild Creek, Belgrade remains relatively underdeveloped compared to other European capitals. More effort and investment are required to bring the great city into the modern world. Let's do that. I could go for some more soft attack and more reliability. Anyways. Basic machine tools. Let's do mechanical computing. Beep boop does not compute. Gamelon marches on Paris. General Maurice Gamelon execute a successful coup against the Jacobins. Okay. Good for him. Formation of the Moscow Accord. Russia is once again on the world stage. Can I press buttons? Only these buttons, which we're not going to press yet. We want to go for probably Chetnik Veteran. Air XP is, I don't know, eventually going to be useful. Democratic restoration in Russia. Boris Savinkov is dead, as the president's actions increasingly angered by the populace and the military. Mass protests broke out in one square, and Savinkov was shot dead by a socialist revolutionary. Gunfire surrounded the capital. Amidst the chaos, the once-banned Party of Socialist Revolutionaries, with the support of the masses, took control of major cities across the country. However, the military, under the leadership of the Chief of the Army, took over soon after, restoring a more moderate government. The new government has promised to restore order, create measures against tyrants taking over again. And Russia is once again thrown into chaos. Hey, what's up, Pyotr? We are producing towed artillery, which we have no template for. At some point, we will tow some artillery. Probably is better to do support equipment and then towed artillery. Alright, we have to get rid of the conspiracy. But we can resume cash crop exportation. Serbia retains a very agrarian economy, but its isolation and recent economic troubles did severe damage to its major imports. With the economy market prices largely stabilized, we can resume agricultural exports and invest these profits. Anyways. Oh boy. Let's go! The Vidovdan speech. The day of St. Vitus, or Vidovdan in the Serbian language. It is continued as Serbian. It has continued to be the most important date in the national identity of Serbia. It is at this day, in 1389, the medieval kingdom of Serbia defended its independence against the Ottoman Empire, the Battle of Kosovo, an event which forged the national myth of the Serbian people for centuries to come. Ever since 1918, however, the commemoration of the day has been silent and modest. It was the day when Archduke Franz Ferdinand was assassinated in Sarajevo, an act many Serbs still cannot live past, for it has brought them so much destruction and loss. During the reign of Alexander II, a small monument was erected in that is that's Gazimestan to honor those who fell in the battle, but the operations there remained small. 1936 was different. President Dragomir Vasic himself attended the observations in Gazimestan, drawing large masses of Serbs to visit the monument for the first time. There, to thousands of his countrymen, he made a speech, and the language was shocking. For the first time since the end of the Weltkrieg, the leader of Serbia declared that what they all experienced 20 years ago was a national humiliation. It robbed Serbia of its ancestral lands, the people of Niš and Macedonia, and Serbia must not rest until it finds a way to return them to Belgrade's fold. The heroes and martyrs commemorated during the Vidovdan fought for a free and united Serbia, after all, and the only way to honor their memories is to overthrow the shackles holding Serbia back today. The speech was met with applause and patriotic chants. While Vasic's political opponents may denounce this as electoral pandering, everyone can tell it marks a sharp turn in the history of Serbia that will no longer abide the Treaty of Warholz and forge an independent destiny instead. Zvela Serbia. Zvela Republika. Anyways, party time. Let's see. Once we've done that, we should probably... We are going to show Serbia's teeth. We must finish within 45 days, restore conscription, or raise reserve divisions, or leave the Warholz Free Trade Area, or form the military council. So we should go do that. Lots of good options here. We do want to resume the national cash crop exportation. Let's see. We do not necessarily need to do that quite yet. We should form the military council. We should restore conscription. We'll raise reserve divisions. And now, we can edit our divisional templates. Potentially, but, well, we don't have the XP to do that, but we can. Do we need cavalry? I really don't feel like we do. Radical election strategy. The People's Radical Party is one of the oldest political parties in Serbia. Founded as a liberal reformist party in 1881, it defined Serbian politics before the Weltkrieg, dominating the political scene under Prime Minister Sava Grujic and Nikola Pasic, and championing moderate reform. It's falling out with the monarchy immediately after the war ended, however, as King Alexander II's personal distaste for Pasic led to his dismissal. The party moving to the underground and finally moved the opposition and finally to the underground. It reluctantly supported the Republican Revolution of 1925 and stands to the more right wing of the two main establishment parties in Serbia. The Radicals, led by Milan Stojanovic, are in a comfortable position, while the left is infighting the right is largely united, as Radicals and Agrarians have a lot of shared ground, while minor parties like the Democratic State Party and Lojtic's Royalist radicals are nothing to worry about. Should this stable, powerful right be maintained, only the radicals may be able to form a government once the election concludes. What should be their strategy in this election? Keep calm, carry on, build a power base, support the Agrarians. We'll do their backing. Go on the offensive and attack post opponents. Keep calm and carry on. Alright. We can now train a unit. We don't have the manpower yet. Yeah. Next up, we probably want the Chetnik veteran. So we can... There we go. Let's get a Chetnik veteran in here. So we can increase the decrease. Russian Imperial Restoration. Return to the Empire in this economy? Welcome to the party, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to transition them over here. And then we are going to decommission that, but potato. Alright, we are successful. We showed Serbia's teeth. Ooh, the Radicals gain support. The Republicans lose support. Oh, if not completed. Blech. If completed. We should probably restore conscription. The Treaty of War holds, among other things, prohibit us from enacting conscription or raising the size of our army above 35,000 men. Without conscription, however, we will unable to defeat any considerable force, thus we must rectify this immediately. Seems like a good idea. But before we do that, let's get rid of the Black Monday. And we'll resume cash crop exportation. Alright, military coup in Japan, the 1936 Double Olympics. We did our best! Oh no. Zemno coup in Bulgaria. Okay. Bulgarians are Bulgarians. I don't think we care very much. I'm not really carrying. Oh, we should probably focus. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. We have 22 divisions. That's pretty good. Socialist election strategy. Socialist Workers' Party, founded in 1919 as a merger of the Social Democratic Party of Serbia, Serbian trade union organizations, and Montenegrin socialists. Its ideology has since been a syncretic mix of all ideologies to the left of the establishment. Syndicalists, Marxist socialists, social democrats, and agrarian socialists all found a home in this party. It was banned by the Obzana during Alexander II's regime, but continued operating in the underground. Supported the Republican Revolution, and joined parliamentary politics as the leftmost legal party in the Skupština. The Socialist Workers' Party has to fight an uphill battle in this election. Even if they can harness enough anti-establishment rhetoric to achieve plurality, they always have to worry about the possibility of an anti-socialist grand coalition between the Republicans and Radicals. Therefore, their goal is not just to grow their own support, but ensure their allies on the left can outweigh the rightists. We could attack the right, send feelers for a left-wing popular front, or just focus on the Vanguard Party. I think a left-wing popular front is probably our best bet, if we are the socialists. Anyways, we've resumed cash crop exportation. We will soon have to leave the Warholtz free trade area, but right now, that is bad for us. So we're going to restore conscription, and then we're going to leave the free trade area. I think maybe that or. Oh, rip, man, got an insurgency. Maybe we'll form the military council and then we'll do that. Democratic Union government in Germany. Okay. Germans are still Germans. Mustafa Kemal seizes power. Is this a return to 1913? I mean, I think that would be good for us, wouldn't it? Monarchist referendum in Georgia. Restoration in Georgia, excuse me. Alright, election in 1936. Almost a year of campaigning and politicking has passed. And now the final stops remain. Polling stations have been established across the country. And the votes are cast to determine the victor of the election. The votes have been counted with a little more than a few hitches, and they reveal the results. The new Skupština will be that the Republicans and Socialists form a coalition. No surprises here. Pickaxe to the future. I don't know what that means. Probably should get a National Council for Democracy. Wow, 150 political power. That's pretty good. Once we've restored conscription, we have to consider our focuses. I think a Congress of Belgrade might actually be the thing that we really want. If we are to topple the Bulgarian hegemon, we cannot do it alone. We will need the help of other nations with outstanding issues with the Bulgarians. Now the Bulgaria is weakened and diplomatically isolated, we have the greatest opportunity possible to gather our allies in this endeavor and liberate southern Serbia. Seems like a wise play. Anyways, we want one more of these. We probably want Republican Firebrand. Elections in Russia. Democracy survives. So the Russian Empire is extant. But they are trying to maintain a democratic system. Alright. Let's go. The Congress of Belgrade. The cooperation of the Balkan nations against a common foe, despite their internal disagreements, is a path well trodden by history already. The Balkan League, formed between Serbia, Bulgaria, and Greece to defeat the Ottoman Empire in the Balkans, was a prime example of that, even though it disintegrated in the Second Balkan War, mere months after victory. Today, Serbia, Romania, and Greece stare down another hegemon, the Tsardom of Bulgaria, and each of them have their own territories to claim. Each of them have territories to reclaim. For almost 2 decades, the thought of such an alliance occurring was unthinkable. The 3 Balkan states have been dismantled, weakened, and disarmed, the eyes of the great power of Europe ever watchful. By the 1930s, however, the situation changed conclusively. The ever-constant frailty of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and thus lacking will to intervene in the Balkans, have already given the Balkan miners a chance to rearm, and now it is a chance for them to plan together. Bilateral summits and diplomatic talks have been taking place between Serbia and Romania since 1932, and Serbia and Greece since 1934. And it's all culminated in the Congress of Belgrade. A 14-day summit in the capital of Serbia. It's a cultural event as much as a political one. The diplomatic planning between the foreign ministers of the 3 states take place in parallel. Dialogues between the University of Belgrade and Bucharest regarding research and student exchanges, for example. Regardless, by the end of the Constitution, the delegations of the 3 states released a 14-point resolution, the most alarming of which was, quote, a recognition that only the self-determination of the people, according to their ethnic allegiances, may be considered a just path to sovereignty and territorial claim, and a call for, quote, a new order in the Balkans to implement that principle, presumably at Bulgaria's expense. Open the Congress. Faction goals. Not anything. I mean, this is probably the best one, because we're going to get that basically guaranteed. Let's control the Potesi oil fields. Let's, I don't know if stronger fortifications are going to do anything. We might want to wait. Yeah, 250. Yeah, no, I'm good. Expand the faction. We're going to wait, and we're going to probably invest in a joint command structure. Something like that. Alright. With that, I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.